So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and a day in the life of taking care of my 75-year-old demented uncle. So I'm going to go into that in a second. As usual, I am Earthling, yada, yada, yada. And for a while there, I really did enjoy ballroom dancing, Latin dancing. It was really cool. I did gymnastics. I got a scholarship, 4-year scholarship a long time ago. I have an MBA computer science degree. I can stay afloat for a really long time without any kind of floating device. And that's it for me. So, a day in the life of taking care of my uncle with dementia. He is 75 years old. He doesn't have a wife, doesn't have kids. And let's get into it. So, I get up pretty late. I stay up pretty late because I should get to bed around the same time that I put my uncle to bed. But I don't. I have tried, but there's the allure of reading random stuff on the internet. So I get up at around 10 o'clock. And that is really get up. I am awake long before that. Sometimes it feels as if I never actually went to sleep. Because, that's really how it feels. I don't know why that's the case, but at least now, I feel a little bit more relaxed staying asleep because I know that I need to get my full 8 hours. Otherwise, I'm not going to be any good to myself or to my uncle, like moving him around and stuff. So I get up out of bed, I draw the blackout curtains, I turn off the fan in my room to save some electricity. I don't put on my PC yet because I have a couple of hours of attending to my uncle, and let's try to save some electricity while I'm doing that. So he is usually asleep on the couch these days. Why? Well, because if he sleeps lying flat out, he has sleep apnea. And as a result of that, he ends up, his breathing stops. So I have him sleep upright, or for as long as he can, because eventually he slouches as low as he can possibly get onto the arm of the couch. And but by that time in the morning, his diaper is usually going to be kind of wet, so he's not going to be sleeping. He would have probably urinated twice or so it's going to be uncomfortable. So anyway, I normally get him up, straight up off of the couch, and I take him to the bathroom, to the toilet, to sit on the toilet, and I take off his underwear, his briefs, and basically I'm just trying to get him as comfortable as possible as soon as possible, because I can't imagine what it must have been like to have spent some part of the night in wet diapers and it's uncomfortable and he has his legs crossed. I guess that's more comfortable for him or something like that. So anyway, he's gonna be in the bathroom for a long time because I'm gonna give him his breakfast, and I'm just gonna leave him on the bathroom for a long time until he can relieve himself by a good amount. Now the reason for that is because if he does not relieve himself enough, he might end up having his fingers somewhat dirtied by whatever he would have needed to relieve himself of. So it's better that his bowels are empty so that there's nothing to work with, in a way of putting it. So unfortunately, by doing that, he has fallen once at least, and we had to take him to the hospital because of that. Luckily, there wasn't anything. Well, no, we didn't take him to the hospital when he fell that second time from sitting on the toilet. So, but he seems to be okay. Basically, moving him from the couch, I just kind of glossed over it, but moving him from the couch to the toilet can be a bit of a problem because he does not really have such great mobility, even before he had dementia. And, as I would have mentioned in other pieces, I can't really communicate with him to say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you hot? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Any of that kind of stuff. So everything is pretty much guesswork, where I have to notice that something might be a problem in order to try to attend to it. I feed him 3 times a day, and I blend up that food. So yeah, let me get back on track. So the idea is I take him from the couch to the bathroom, and I kind of have to maneuver him to stand up off of the couch. I try not to use my muscles to muscle him up anymore. I kind of use his feet and knees as a lever in order to rock him up. And then I kind of use his upper arms, his elbows, as marionette strings to get him to move either leg. So I kind of push and pull and pivot with each leg and arm. So I'm basically, pulling on his left arm to get his right foot to move sometimes, and sometimes it's not enough, and I will have to actually try to hold his arms, hold the left arm alone, and then pick up one leg, his left leg, hold the right arm and pick up his left leg. And once there's some momentum, once you've moved a leg, and the other ones start going, but sometimes it can be a problem to get things going. And but anyway, let's say I get him to the toilet. I take off the scarf around his neck because I guess he has sinus problems sometimes, and he feels the need to spit. So I'll wrap his neck in a scarf, so then he won't have that sinus. And I have the same kind of issue too, where I feel like my nose is running sometimes, and I have to put like a scarf or something around it in order to get it to stop, even if I'm indoors and I haven't gone outside or anything for the whole day or whatever. So yeah, I tried it on me and I realized, whoa, this nasal drip thing that I get just spontaneously, not having a cold, it stopped because of that. Because I'd seen my mother do something similar. I don't think that she realized what it was, but anyway. So I get him onto the toilet, and I go and I put his food into the blender. It's the same kind of food as my food. It's not like a sandwich or peanut butter, but it's like a plate of food kind of thing. No chicken, just maybe I might put a can of tuna, 2 cups of food, maybe it's rice and some kind of bean, garbanzo beans, lentil peas, whatever it might be. 2 cups of that and a cup of water, and blend that up. It takes a couple of minutes. Pour it out of the blender into a bowl, heat it up, and bring it for him to start eating. I brush his teeth after, so I give that to him. Then I take his soiled clothes, because his pants might be soiled, and then there's a bed liner that goes underneath him. It might be dry, might be able to use that again another day or the rest of the day, but sometimes it might be soiled as well. So then I'll take the bed liner, well, before or after I actually blend his food and feed him, it's all mixed up because it's not like 100% precise. I'm kind of not that, So, I might take the bed liner, the soiled brief, and the soiled clothes, and I might just hand wash that stuff with a little bit of soap in bucket of water, agitate, rinse it, agitate again in the soap water, rinse it again. I put it in the dryer in the washing machine on the spin cycle to get all the water out of it, and then I might put it in the dryer to dry. And while that's going on, his other clothing, that new clothing, I'll put it to a side so that after I finish feeding him and he's been on the toilet long enough to relieve himself, I can put it onto him. So I have him on the toilet, and I realize, unfortunately, that, well, he's on the whatever, the throne, and he does not open his mouth, open your mouth, eat the food. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that, where I put it close to his mouth, and he can see in one of his eyes, but the other eye has a cataract. So my mother had gotten one cataract removed, but the other one, he can't see through that. But he has an appointment sometime in the future to hopefully have that attended to. But as for right now, he can see the food. He can't see everything. He's just not going to be responsive, and he's not going to follow directions to do any specific thing. He'll respond to his name, but he's not going to follow directions. So like open him out and eat this food or anything like that. So what I do is I bring the food to his mouth. It's blended it's kind of like sticky, right? It can't be runny because it needs to stick to his face. It needs to stick like above his lip. And when I kind of lace or line his upper lip with some of the food, what I realized, that I can't tell you how I realized it, but when I scoop the food that has stuck to his lips, when I scoop that off, so I line his lips with it, and then I scoop it off, and at that point, a lot of times he'll end up opening his mouth. I don't know why that is something that triggers him to open his mouth a little bit, but it does. So that's what I do. I lace his lips with the food. Again, it has to be of that sticky consistency. It can't be too runny, and the other thing were it being too thick, that would be a problem to get it to blend up properly. So the idea is that when I put in those 2 cups of water into it's 2 cups of food and 1 cup of water into the blender, initially it can seem runny, right? But I have to know that I need to keep blending that combination, and it depends on what type of beans I'm giving him to eat. Like, if it's kidney beans or something, that'll work really well. If it's like lentils or something, that, you might have to put a lot less water in order to get it to stick. Anyway, for whatever reason, I always misjudge how much time I have. I have to remember that maybe 5 minutes per section of the day. Anyway, I can see him from the open toilet door where I'm sitting down to study. So I, wash his butt and his legs, and I kind of a sponge bath thing. And I put 2 of these briefs underneath either of his legs, because if you sit down on a toilet for a number of hours, apparently that starts to hurt your butt. So like right now I'm recording, and even sitting down on the floor for 10 minutes starts to hurt my butt. So I realized that, yeah, I need to add some kind of fluffiness under his butt, otherwise it's gonna cause a problem. Anyway, I probably missed out some stuff, but at the end of him relieving himself, I get him out to lie down on the couch these days, because in spite of what I was saying about how it's difficult for him to sleep when he is stretched out, he still manages to feel relaxed enough to urinate, and I need him to urinate regularly so that when it's time to sleep, hopefully he's gotten as much of that out of him and he's able to lie down on with a clean diaper and the bed liner and have it not be overloaded. Anyway, I probably have to do this again in a better way at some time in the future, but I just wanted to give insight to other people who might be going through something like this, and as to what somebody else who's taking care of a relative might be experiencing. Sometimes I have to pick him up, just forget about any kind of exercise that he might be getting. I just have to pick him up like a baby, or I'll just grab him underneath his arms and move him wherever. But yeah, so I'll just have to end it. I didn't structure this well, but I don't want to go too long. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, any of that stuff, the same way that you would like if someone were interacting with something that you made. Have a good one. Peace.